Hi, everybody. Welcome to the class today. So we have a lot of different little segments that I put together on a big video. And this is showing you what good play and bad play and how dogs actually communicate with one another and how we can imitate that language in order for us to be able to teach our dogs some better information about how to live in our society. So we're going to get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So let me know when you are able to see my screen. Now I can't see you, so you'll have to unmute yourself so you can let me know if you can see properly.
We can see it.
Perfect. So okay, so in this video we have 3 dogs. We have Senshin, my pup, when he was a little bit younger, and then we have a Doberman and we have a Lab. Now in this video, I want you to focus a little bit on what the Doberman is doing, what the body language of the Doberman is, and then I want you to tell me what the response of Senshin is to her body language. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the dog's body as a whole. So starting with the ears, the eyes, the mouth, the weight on the legs, and the tail. So those are the points that we want to focus on. If there's a moment where you want me to stop it, just say so. Remember, I cannot see you, so I'm just gonna play it slowly and then watch a little bit, and then I can slow it down and then watch it in slow motion again. So I'm gonna play it right now. So 1 second, guys. I just have to unmute one person. There we go. All right. Go back to the video. Okay, here we go. So, okay, so I'm just gonna rewind in just a second. So that's where we started. All right, guys, let me see. There's somebody else on the call. So, yep. I'm gonna give 2 more minutes before I start the video, just to make sure everybody's here. I don't know how to get everybody to just join in without me having to press the button, but I will figure that out for next time. All right, here we go. So here is the dogs. So I'm just gonna rewind it a little bit. So here is my dog giving a play bow, right? So it's a pacifying thing. And then let's see what the Doberman does. Now watch the ear of the Doberman. Watch her demeanor, watch her how she puts her weight on her legs, and then watch my dog, what he does with his body. See how tall or how low the dog is. All right, so I'm gonna post it right there. So what do you guys see about the Doberman?
Doberman's being very aggressive.
Very what, sorry?
Very aggressive.
So aggression is actually the desire to hurt somebody. Is there a different way that you can put that information? Because I don't, like, this is not aggressive. She's not biting the dog. So that's what the definition of aggression is. But there is something that the Doberman is doing. What do you guys think?
He's trying to dominate.
Yeah, so it's not so much dominate, because dominating is not the right terminology when you see this kind of interaction. It's more about controlling. If you really watch her, she's not allowing my dog to move very much. So I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit. So like right here at the beginning of the interaction, okay, my dog does a play bow, right? Like right, almost there. So he starts interaction with, look, I'm friendly. And do you notice like how tall she looks?
Yeah.
And if you really look, like her eyes are right on him, but he is not looking at her. He's actually like, his eyes are away from her. So he doesn't want to threaten her in any way. So he's trying to pacify her, right? And again, she's just being controlling about the interaction. Now the lab gets involved because he sees what's happening and he's sniffing the ground and he's trying to actually diffuse the energy. So he gets involved and he's like, hey, let's all be friends, you know? And he goes, but my dog is more interested on the Doberman because he's curious about her body. So he pokes her face and then goes, okay, I'm gonna play with you now, and redirects. And that's when she goes and look, she completely controls his movement, blocks him for playing with the lab altogether. Look how tall she is, how her ears are forward, her tail is really high up, her weight is up on her front legs. So that is really, really tall, alert body language, right? So she is like just, and again, we cannot, when we're watching videos like this, we cannot pretend to know what's actually going on inside their minds. What we can do is observe the body language and talk about what they're doing. But I don't know what she's thinking. I have no idea. I'm not in her mind, right? But she's definitely controlling movement. So look, and then she goes over my dog's head, which is actually a sign of like furthermore controlling his energy. So he does a head turn to try to pacify that, closes his eyes, makes his body small, and does another play bow, and then decides to run away from her to give more space because he's feeling uncomfortable at this point. So he runs away, and then she follows him and continues to basically control his movement. See how tall she is? So he looks for refuge now. So he's gonna go around the fence and he's like trying to get away. Now at this point, did you see how she lowered her body a little bit? So there was a moment where she lowered her body a little bit. So he confuses that with play, like right there. So he goes back around trying to interact with her, but she gets really tall. So as she gets really tall, he is like looking away. Now she comes really hot. He lowers his ears right there. Like see how the ears are back? He's wagging his tail and he's gonna make himself small. See, because look how tall she is. So she's 100% controlling the situation, trying to like stop him from actually doing anything at all. It's like, I don't like what you're doing. He continues to give pacifying signals, looking away, moving to the side, trying to make himself small. He blocks his movement on one side, and then he continues, look, he flicks her mouth away. She gives a pacifying signal, so he sees that as an opportunity to run away, controls again. He does another pacifying signal, and then she's like, no, you're not allowed to move. And that was a mistake of him to continue to move. So then she corrects him with her mouth a little bit, like, don't you do that. And then he's like, okay, forget it. I give up. Right? So do you see that interaction? That's a dog that I wouldn't necessarily recommend allowing your dog to play with a dog like that, because that's too intense. And basically it's a little bit of bullying. Like my dog is not actually allowed to do anything. She's controlling everything about his interaction, right? And look how many pacifying signals he's giving her, and she's still not really playing. She's just controlling, right? I'm controlling the movement. I'm controlling everything you're doing right now. Are we good with that? Does anybody have any questions about that particular thing? See, so I'm gonna play it now again in like real life time, so you guys can see again from the beginning. So this is really fast, right? When it's happening in real life. Look, he's like, oh yeah, I can play now. He's like, poke, poke. Yes, I'm gonna play with you. No way, you're not allowed to play. Forget it. Pacifying signal. Come on, play with me. She did a head turn, which is really amazing. So he thought he could run, but it wasn't real. And it almost looked like playful, right? From her end, like, oh, pacifying signal, great, I can move. Nope, you're not allowed. You guys see that? Does anybody have any question about that particular play? So in order to support the Doberman, the best thing to do at that point would be to actually call her. Look, there we go. Now we're like actually getting into like proper play. To call her and allow her to not get so intense. So here we go. Now we're gonna get into, okay, now he's really submissive. So she's gonna try to get him to play. He's gonna get confused because she's so strong. But he doesn't believe her anymore because he controlled her so much, right? Excuse me. Ryder. So look at all the pacifying languages that you're seeing. So even though, so even though she was trying so hard, he no longer could interact because of the control part that he did at the beginning, that she did at the beginning, right? Okay, so here is the next video I want to show you. So here is Gus the lab and my dog again, a little bit older. And I want you to look at the difference in play with this. Okay, so look at the ears, the mouth, and the body weight, and the space between the dogs. All right, so what we saw there is, can you guys tell me a little bit about the mouths?
The lab's showing lots of teeth.
Mm-hmm. What about mine?
But yeah, his mouth's open, they play fighting.
Yeah, they play fighting very good. Now notice too what happened with the eyes. So what's happening with the eyes? So I'm gonna repeat it now in slow motion. So look, he shows teeth there. And what's the response of the white dog? See how he
looks away.
Yeah, he backs away. And then watch what the black dog is gonna do after that. See how he lays down because he scared the dog and he realized, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Come back to play. So I'm gonna make myself small. So then the white dog comes back to play again, right? And then it starts interacting again because he made himself small. So they're doing something called reciprocating their body language. So like if Gus is doing like a head turn, my dog will do a head turn. If Gus goes down, my dog goes down. And they're giving each other a lot of signals. Like for example, my dog jumps, right? And Gus nips a little bit on him because I'm just funny and playful. And then Gus like starts to look at him and he backs up. Oh yeah, okay, I'll back off. I'll give you a little bit of space because there's more teeth. See, and then Gus goes like, okay, so now I'm gonna be playful again. Lower my body again to get you to play again. See how he's constantly lowering their body and they're doing back and forth. And notice the ears are back and everything looks just so harmonious. So it looks so nice and so friendly. Like this is the best type of play where we're reciprocating each other. We're really going and then we're moving away when somebody feels tense. Like if he's staring at my dog, he moves away. And then if he lets go a little bit, he comes back. So let's watch it one more time. So this time, watch the back and forth interaction between the two. Ready? Here we go. So look, I'm making myself small. Me too. Oh, and I want to nip you. Me too. Look, I make myself small. They both did a play bow. Now they both get tall. Now a little too much teeth, so my dog backs off. Then Gus does a tiny head turn, makes himself small. My dog jumps on him again because he made himself small. That's an invitation to do that. Oh, now he got serious again. My dog backs off. And then, so see this amazing interaction? That's what you're looking for. Okay, The next one, the next interaction is not appropriate. So what we're gonna watch is two dogs. There's a border collie and the golden retriever, and the border collie is being really pushy, just like the Doberman. And what you're gonna see in the background is a third dog, and the third dog is trying really hard to control both of the interactions. So what I like a lot about this video is the tail of the third dog, because it shows you how he's using energy to control what's going on. So watch carefully, and then I'll slow it down for you. So here's the you know, the border collie not letting go of the golden retriever, and then there's the big dog. You see how with one push it moved the border collie, whereas the golden retriever couldn't move the border collie. Look how he controlled with the neck grabbing, and see how he can block both dogs. So the actual dog, that one that's coming in with the high tail, has a lot of actually power, because he can control all the interactions with his body. This is pretty impressive for puppies. So for example, if I was to work with that dog, I would work with a lot of submissive behaviors, because he is already really powerful at that age. So I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit so we can see one more time. So I'm gonna also, I don't know, can you guys hear the sound on the video? Maybe not that much. Okay, so we start here. So first of all, the border collie goes on top of the golden retriever, and the border collie is squeezing the golden retriever with the front paws. The golden retriever is putting its paws up, and I don't know if you can see, but see the tail? The tail is between his legs. So the tail is actually, he's asking for help. Now, notice the third dog, the black dog, is actually looking at the body language, and the tail is really high up, and he's trying to get involved. So he's gonna target first the border collie, but he can't really get to him, because see, the border collie corrects him a little bit. So then he starts trying to get involved with the actual golden retriever. So trying to move the golden retriever a little bit. And then keep in mind, these are puppies, so they don't know how they're speaking very well. So they're still learning, right? So the border collie is still pretty intense and not really letting go. See, the golden retriever there is full teeth. See that? Because it's feeling 100% overwhelmed. Like, this is not proper play. So now this is now when the black dog starts actually targeting the border collie and saying, oh, you're the one at fault. It actually grabs the border collie by the scruffs and moves him away. See that? Moves him away from the situation, letting the golden retriever get up. And look at the really high tail up on the black dog. He's like taking the situation in charge and bringing the dog down, right? And then the golden retriever goes, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. Now I can play again. And then he backs up and he starts again. And then he controls now the golden retriever. Okay, not only does the border collie have to listen to me, the golden retriever has to listen to me. And then I call him off because it was too much. I didn't want him to continue practicing that, right? But that's a really good example of the play that, for example, if your dog was the border collie, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? These are puppies learning how to play, but I will be calling that border collie off so I can actually help. Like, I wouldn't allow that intensity. Now, for us, we're studying this, so we have to make a lot of videos, but you want to work through all of this and learning and see what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. So let's watch it one more time. Squish, squish. Black dog is like, I should get you out of there. You're not listening. Okay, that's it. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to grab the other guy because I can't grab you properly. And again, he's learning, right? And then there is like, okay, I'm going to take you away. Come with me. And then that's it. Take you away. Golden retriever feels more protected. So he feels ready to play again. And then he's like, no, you two listen to me. And look at the dog on the background. Like this one here. The black dog in the background, he was giving 110 pacifying signals. He didn't want to have anything to do with this. See all the pacifying signals, looking away, looking down, like not trying to get involved. Like, oh, I don't know, that looks pretty bad. See that? So that's a scary cat. So we're just trying to desensitize him to how dogs play for that one particular dog. So does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's another play. So for this one, you guys tell me what's going on. So you can tell me if the white dog is good or bad, or if the brown dog is good or bad. So here we go.
Brown dog's doing lots of play bows and making himself look small.
Yeah, and then, so do you guys remember the video of Gus on the bench and Senshin playing with him? Does it look anything similar to this play?
A bit.
Yeah, a bit, right? Why? What do you think is happening?
I think they're both engaging equally.
That's 100% right. They're reciprocating each other's body language. I mean, look at this place where I just paused the video. They're both doing a head turn. They both have their tails down and they both have their bodies sideways. You guys see that? They're
Yeah.
constantly mimicking, reciprocating body language, and they're constantly pacifying each other, constantly doing head turns, constantly doing play bows, constantly giving a space to one another. This is beautiful dog play. This is beautiful, like by the book, right? So let's watch it again. So it's like, I give a paw, I walk away, I bend myself down, I bend myself down. I give a space, I laugh, I try to grab you, lots more space, play bow. Oh yeah, I body check you, you body check me, lots of space, a little bit of a shake, a little bit more down. And then, you know, I use my mouth very gently and things like that. Do you guys see all of that?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of reciprocating. That's amazing. You don't have to call your dog. Those dogs are amazing. Now here, we're gonna see another video of the opposite. So watch now. Now the difference between that video and this one is that the dog, the boxer, so there's two boxers, a boxer pit bull and the other boxer. And the boxer pit bull, the white one, he's very confident. And the other boxer is a puppy, but it's extremely high energy. So when you are very high energy and you're in the presence of a very confident dog, what do you think that the confident dog wants to do?
Dominate.
Well, not dominate, because again, that's a really hard term. So dominate means that you're forcing somebody to do something.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
but
controlling the level of energy.
that's right. That is exactly good job, Bruce. And by the way, two paws up to Bruce. Today he had one of the best classes with Misty I ever seen. She actually was engaged for an entire half an hour doing all the exercises. Wow, Bruce, that was really awesome. So yeah, you're right on, Bruce. The dog is trying to control the energy level, because what strong dogs do is they control the salt levels, and dogs that have influence will always take charge of that. So that's why our goal with you is to show you these videos so you can actually take charge of the energy level of your dog and pacify them, have influence over them, change their mind, make them calmer. Okay, so that's what actually you want to do. So let's watch little Lou Baby. Lou Baby is the white dog. So look at Lou Baby's tail. Wham! Control the energy. Too much energy. Wham! Control the energy. Right?
Yeah.
And notice that the other boxer has a lot of energy and is not actually challenging the influence of Lou Baby. But look at the lab. He wants to mount Lou Baby so he can control that energy. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch it again. So in this case, the boxer has no problem with Lou being controlling. He's not phased at all by his control. Okay, he just super high energy, so he can take it. Now compare that to Senshin, who's all soft and marshmallowy. So when the Doberman was doing that to him, he was like, no way, man. I'm just gonna be so peaceful. Like, I don't want any harm. Like, just I'm trying to be peaceful, right? So here, let's watch one more time. So look how the other boxer backs away, but his tail is not between his legs. His tail is not flat out. His tail is actually slightly up. So when this dog grows up, if we don't control that level of energy, he's gonna become influential as well. So here we go. So there's a lot of pacifying signal there, but Blue Baby's always looking at his eyes, always trying to push the energy, lower the intensity. See that? Like boxing, right? Typical boxers. That's why they're called boxers. Wham! Control yourself. See, he's trying to control. And then when the dog does pacifying signal, Blue Baby does back up. But then the lad is like, okay, enough of this. Enough of this. I'm just gonna now stop that. I'm gonna hump you because you need to be controlled too. Right? And I had to stop it right there. So I just have to stop the interaction. It was getting a little too intense. So that's why I stopped it right there. So did everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, the next video I'm gonna show you is actually of a fight. So so that's the first video I put. So I'm gonna first, so obviously I was there to control the situation, but I'm gonna play it first so you guys see the difference in body language when it actually gets serious. Okay, so in this photo particular where you're seeing right now on the screen, notice the Australian cattle, the Australian Shepherd. Look at the white eyes right there. So you can see the white eyes. He's feeling nervous. The black dog on the left, I don't know if that's your left for you guys, but for me it's my left, is like tail is up. And oh my gosh, look at the stiffness of the pointer.
Yeah.
Super stiff. Like that's exactly like the Doberman, right? Like really, really stiff, really high up. Everybody else is moving away and looking at other things. Okay, so let's check it out. So look at the stiffness. Wow.
Hey.
Right? You
Hey.
see that? You guys see that? So
Yeah.
so what happened is the moment that dog wanted to control is the moment the actual Australian Shepherd did the eyes. So it was here. It was when the Australian Shepherd gave the eyes to try to control the black dog that the pointer had an issue with that. Okay, so that was the issue. Now, as you continue to watch this video, okay, look how the pointer is actually searching for the eyes of the Australian Shepherd. Look how tall he's getting. Look at the Australian Shepherd. You can still see slightly the whites of his eyes, slightly. I know it's pretty hard to see in the video, but slightly. And then he's not giving a pacifying signal. So he's not actually submitting to the will of the pointer. So then as a result, the pointer actually corrects him. See, and he's still not submitting. Like the entire time, even after the pointer is going after him, he's still looking at the pointer. See that? And that's when I stepped in and I say, excuse me, or hey, or something. And the pointer knows me really well. So that's where he backed up. And then he got nervous a little bit about my hey. So then he shook it off. And then he went back and I called him again. It's like, excuse me, right? You guys see that? So are you guys able to see the difference in body language?
Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna play the whole video again. So keep an eye on the differences in body language. And then what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of discussion about it. I'm staring at you when...
Hey.
Hector. Still controlling the energy. So you can see it's not necessarily aggressive at all. It's just controlling. And she has no clue how to play. And then she tries really hard, but it's too late, right? She has completely intimidated the dog. So like that's the problem, having a dog like that with a dog that doesn't know how to pacify, that would be a little bit of a argument, probably, most likely. So he's like way too intimidated to play. And see how
Excuse me?
when he does pacifying signals, like lowers his head,
Ryder?
she pokes him. So like not really understanding the pacifying signal at all. See, he's like putting his head down and like trying really hard, and we have to call her away. Look how small their bodies are. See how they make their bodies small, and they're reciprocating each other, and it looks so friendly. Like the eyes are soft. Like, you know, he gets intense, goes a little bit because he has sharp teeth, so my dog backs off. But overall, a lot of reciprocation. Here's the squisher. So that was even so rough for him to grab the scruff like that, right? And I always have to cut the video when I have to get in and intervene because I can't leave it for too long, right? And look at the difference, how beautiful this playtime is. Hey, Avery, that's my Irish setter. All right.
Now, the boxes are like WWE wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
Slap down.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. Do I click on this? Stop share. There we go. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That's just a couple of examples of like different types of playtime. So what I'm gonna tell you is gonna sound a little bit like a shock because we're not used to taking responsibility. As a matter of fact, as when we grew up as kids, we actually were taught, I mean, just with the belief of like magic and things, we were taught that things just should happen to us. So a lot of the times we resist taking responsibility. And one of the things that I'm going to suggest is that because you have a dog, you can actually bring so much joy to others and to yourself. But joy starts when you train your dog effectively, when you learn to manage their energy. And that's why we spend time teaching you about the SOD levels. So SOD levels stands for subjective units of distress. And it's a scale that goes from 0 to 100, 0 being sleeping and 100 being the most intense emotionally that you can potentially be, like whether that's intense excitement and like overbearing, trying to catch a ball or trying to catch a squirrel, or like absolute phobia, or actually reactivity, like trying to eat an animal, or actually be aggressive towards a dog. So our responsibility is to teach our dogs to stay within the thinking zone or the reasoning zone, the area where they can learn and process information. So that's from 0 to 50. And in order for us to know when our dogs is escalating in intensity, we actually watch their body language and we look for cues of how they're feeling through their body. And as their body starts to change, we start engaging with them before they get above 50. Because once they get above 50 and you engage with them, you're actually is like joining in. It's like we're gonna be intense together. So it's not actually gonna work so well. So what we wanna do is we're gonna catch them before they get to that 50. So that's why I can't keep shooting the video. Like I have to interrupt. I have to like teach the dogs what to do, right? So so taking responsibility means that you understand the way your dog moves, your particular dog, because all our dogs look slightly different, and that we're able to identify when our dog gets into that really intense emotional state, and then be able to bring them back to a more calm demeanor and give all our resources when their dog is calm. So that way, when I'm drilling is be a marshmallow, be a marshmallow, be a marshmallow, be a marshmallow. So then you can bring joy to the world and to yourself as a person, right? Now, some of us have dogs that are really easy to tell their body language, and some of us don't. So that's why spending a little time watching these videos is so helpful. So again, this is not a criticism of where each one of these dogs in this particular video is at, because the reason why they come to school is for a reason. They're here to learn. So we're not judging anybody. What we're doing is we're pointing out where we can support our dogs, where we can do a recall, where we can do a game, where we can become more valuable than the actual interaction with another dog. Do we understand that part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, if we go to a dog park, which I don't like doing because I can't tell and it all looks a little aggressive, what would you suggest?
So that is a great question, Sally. And we are actually going to arrange a field trip. A couple of you have asked to do a real life application of reading body language. So what we're going to do is we're all going to go without our dogs. Okay, we're not going to bring our dogs. We're actually going to go to a dog park and just watch how dogs interact. So that would be a class that will be by donation. So if you guys gonna donate to the service dog program, you can. So we're gonna meet in North Vancouver, and I'm about to put up the dates. I will be putting up the dates on the Facebook page. So that will be a class that we're gonna do for anybody who's interested on learning more about reading body language. Now, what we can do is the first session could be about reading body language, and then you can bring your dogs out after that. But we can't have your dogs there because you're not gonna be able to see anything. You'll be gonna be way too distracted. So you won't be able to actually capture anything at all. So if anybody is wondering how I actually learned, so I did study like theory and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't until I spent hours watching dogs interact that I actually learned how to support them. So not any book or any video was as educative or like as effective as teaching me body language as watching dogs at a dog park and watching what worked and what didn't work. So that is a really cool field trip. So again, it'll be about an hour. We're gonna meet at one of the dog parks in North Vancouver. And then from there, if you bring your dog, if you wanna do an actual class after that, we can do so. Okay, so that is that question. So Sally, I will definitely show you. If you want to bring Hendrix after that, we can definitely work with him on the, we don't even have to go inside the park, because like there's nothing more magical than working outside the park with your dog to create really positive body language. And then once you've done that a few times, you can actually get in. So there's nothing wrong with taking the steps, making it slow and being very successful. Like I would not particularly go to a dog park if I didn't have any recall. Like I want my dog to be able to come to me regardless of the distractions. So that's something I will work on, and I probably would do it at the outside of the park, making it really positive. So great question. Does anybody else have a question?
Will that be in the new year, Valley?
Yes, that's gonna be in the new year. We are like fully booked every hour of the day until the new year right now.
Okay.
Do you recommend dog parks as a place for dogs to play? You know, before Quattro developed reactivity, he was fine in the dog parks. He had lots of fun. But then he started to get attacked. One time 6 German Shepherds had circled him and went after him. Another time he was mounted, and then he developed reactivity.
So I particularly think that dog parks are amazing. However, it really depends on your level of responsibility. Like, for example, if you did like honestly, to go to a dog park, you should be able to look at those German Shepherds and being able to actually get your dog out of there before that happened. That should have been the appropriate response. However, you didn't know back then. You had no idea how to read body language. So you probably were like super like trusting, thinking at a dog park we have nice dogs. And also like a guy that brings 6 German Shepherds, which is a pack, to a dog park is not responsible. I don't care how great of a trainer you think you are, bringing a pack that big, no way. That is unfair to other dogs, because packs like group together. So it's the nature of the dog. So I mean, you would have to work daily at a dog park with your dogs to be able to have that level of control, and it's just not necessary. Like that would be, I would say that would be a little bit of ego, because ego wants you to show off, but it's not necessary. So I think dog parks are great because it allows you to build a really strong relationship with your dog, but you have to be able to protect your dog, and you need to be able to do that. Like you need to know that. Like, for example, I was walking Senshin once at a dog park, and he was like just trotting beside me, super calm, like nonchalant, like looking at the stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a dog was beelining for him. Like so fast. Now Senshin is not neutered, so I knew that dog was gonna attack my dog. So before I even thought, I had already kicked the dog. It was like a wham! No, you don't. And the dog was like, what? And I go, off. And then he's like, okay. And he left. So like there's no way I would let my dog get hurt. But again, I've been working through that, right? I've been training myself to do that. So that may be not something that you can do, but you can very well go on the outside of a dog park, because that's where like real magic happens too. Like if I have a reactive dog, I don't have to go in the dog park. I can go outside the dog park, even half a block away, and actually have an amazing experience and really increase the bond between myself and my dog doing that. I don't like to get value from a dog park. You don't have to be in the dog park.
Right. Actually, in the dog part, when he's off leash, and if he's particularly playing with ball, he's fine with other dogs. He's okay to play with them. It's just those, and I guess as you're saying, it's me trying to understand what the other dogs are doing, because the last time like this Irish Wolfhound came out of nowhere, just went at him.
Yeah, exactly, right. And there's also another thing that you may be missing is that, okay, here's something I saw. So somebody, a client contacted me and say, hey, I like help with my dog. My dog gets attacked right at the dog park all the time. And she sent me a video and it was horrifying. Okay, she has a small dog, and her small dog is the most insecure dog I ever saw. Okay, you bring that to a dog park. What do you think that's going to trigger? That energy is so unstable. Every dog at the dog park that feels that they're a little bit influential are going to try to control that energy. They're all going to try to pin that dog down. And because that dog is so fearful, guess what he does? He runs away like a maniac. So now everybody's triggering prey drive. And that's so dangerous. Like, I was talking to her and I'm like, you know what? Looking at your dog, I would tell you that the best way to deal with your dog will be to increase his confidence and spend a lot of time increasing confidence before I even attempt to ever go into the dog park. Like, so you know what you're saying with Quattro, getting dogs that are going after him. So dogs that go after other dogs usually is the result of intensity. So like your dog may be too weak or too intense in one way or another. Now, Anitra, we both have worked with Quattro. We love Quattro dearly, but he's pretty intense. He's an intense dog, like overall. So it's hard to actually keep him safe when you have that level of intensity. Now, before you started working with me, I will say his intensity was like at 99 a lot of the time. But now you're taking such good care of him and such high responsibility that you're actually, I would say he's a lot of the time a lot lower than 50 now. And it's such a magical thing to see. Like, he's not crazy as he was before. He's a lot more responsive. And that's magical, but I will continue working with that, continue to lower that salt levels down outside dog parks before I bring him in, just to make sure that nobody has that necessity of like controlling him, right? Because unfortunately, we can't really control other dogs. Like, and sometimes like I will say, hey, could you grab your dog? And the owner is like, what? I don't have a leash. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a leash? Grab your dog. However you want to grab it, right? Yeah. So you know, sometimes it's difficult. So I would recommend, if you're a person that lives in Squamish, to go to Vancouver, like North Vancouver, to dog parks, because the dogs in North Vancouver and West Vancouver are so much more friendly. They have so much experience meeting dogs of all types and all sizes and everything. So it's a little bit nicer. When I walk in Squamish, sometimes I find like some terrifying body language. And then people saying, oh, my dog is friendly. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look friendly at all. So I'm just going to wait a long time. Right? So that can be hard sometimes. But I really like the dog parks in North Van and West Van. I really enjoy bringing my dogs there. I find it a lot more successful because I can predict their behavior, because they are so used to interacting with other dogs.
One thing I find sometimes is we'll be walking the dog and randomly a dog will come running out of nowhere, like no leash, and you don't even see the owner. It's just like, oh, okay.
Gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And come up and start growling and playing and just being all up in our face. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, what do you do? I've just been kind of picking up my dog, but it's like,
Yeah. So for that, remember your engagement one with your treats.
yeah.
And we also talked last week about doing an interrupter sound or an attention noise. That's what you do. So when I have two dogs, a dog comes out of nowhere and they start to play. I first keep my leash loose, making sure I'm not adding tension. And then I go, ready, guys? And I toss treats all over. So the dogs are like, and I usually have some high value treats for that. So the dogs can like get distracted and sniff the treats, and I let them play again. And then I do it again. At that point, it's just management. There's no like real education. It didn't happen. The dog is already on top of you. But it's management. You can actually control both dogs. Now, if you're worried about allergies, screw it. I don't care if that dog has allergies. Eating a few treats is not going to kill him. Definitely not going to kill him. And it's going to make your dog less protective and less reactive and less everything. And your dog is learning you can't control another dog, which gives you points in your influence scale. So you really have to be good at that sound and getting right in there and like and splitting them up. So we can practice more of that if anybody's interested in doing some like socialization. So for example, you and Joan, you can do Blue, and your puppy will be perfect match.
I think I actually met this guy. Blue met your puppy, and he run like it was like up by the canyon in Squamish.
Could be.
What
This
kind
is
of? Yeah, that's
Wait,
funny.
me?
Yeah, that's to you.
Oh, Kiba. Our
He's a
dog
big
Kiba.
puppy, like he's not even 1 year old, and he's waiting. He's actually right there. He's 85 pounds, so he's a puppy. Sometimes that scenario happened to me because I'm trying to work on the recall, but it's not that good yet. So if he smell another dog, he loves dogs, so he will just go and then. But if you throw treat at him, he's gonna eat them. Like he's gonna listen to anything, any food. He's gonna lay down and do everything you want.
Yeah. So that will be a good match. So if you guys want to join in on a class, we can split the cost and like join in on a socialization class with your puppies. right? So then you can learn how to control that situation and learn how to like bring them out and get better at that. Honestly, it's just the skills. So it's like, the question is, what do you want to do with your dog? How do you want to live with your dog? Where do you want to take your dog? Because what I find is the most amazing thing about dogs is you can actually grow and change with them. You can evolve with them. So I like my dogs to travel on an airplane, to like go on like a kayak, to go on a canoe, to like do a paddleboard, to like go and have adventures with me. But in order to do that, my dog has to be very well behaved. Like I have to take responsibility. It is not like wishful thinking. It's not gonna happen if I just wish it to be so. Is I have to take responsibility. I have to create that in our lives. And you know what's funny is that when you decide to take responsibility and you actually learn a technique and your dog actually succeeds, I feel so happy. So it's funny, right? That when you work towards something, you actually get a higher reward. Whereas when you just expect something to fall out of the sky, you're like, right? But if you had to actually put effort into it, it feels so good when you accomplish something. It's pretty cool. So actually taking responsibility is such a great thing to do, to be able to actually work with your dog and help others as well.
Yeah.
And again, for this, like sometimes, like there would be some
I don't
resistance,
know.
like resistance to
Just started
change,
getting
for
these funny
example.
sounds.
Yeah. So the resistance to change.
I'm trying to get it off of the.
Common.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Hold on, guys. I'm just gonna put one of you on mute, unless you're talking to me, then it's fine. So resistance to change. Sometimes you look at a scenario like what we're talking about, and you may feel completely overwhelmed. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I ever gonna be a good dog guardian. I don't know if I can ever really take responsibility. But that's because when you're looking at the overall picture, you're looking at something that is very high end result. But if you look at just making a tiny exercise, like just being able to do the proximity one, just being able to toss a treat in the presence of other dogs, and just getting your dog engaged in that behavior, if you just look at that and you put yourself a goal like, I want to be able to do that 3 times this week in the presence of any dog at any distance, that's actually completely manageable. And that's something that you can see yourself succeed. So it's not about saying, oh, I'm going to go here, and that's like the Olympic medal. It's like, I'm going to just little by little do little tiny steps to be able to do that. Right? And be able to like help yourself slowly. And if you, for example, if I have any doubt of how my dog is playing, I just back up. Say my dog's name, Sunshine, let's go. And then back up as much as I can. No negotiable. I'm going to back up. Whether you like it or not, you're coming with me. So that's when I feel that the situation, I can't handle it. Right? And so my dog has learned that if I back up, he has to come no matter what. Now, another thing is that I don't actually have my dog off leash unless I know I have a recall. That's pretty important because the more that your dog practices not listening to you, the more that they get rewarded for it. So like sometimes if I really want to give freedom to my dog, I may actually use a long line, something that is like a lot more freedom for the dog, but I can still have a level of control if I need to call the dog, right? And you can make it super fun for your dog. And that's where the real magic happens. Yeah. All right. So we'll put the dates for the field. Anyone who wants to come is totally welcome to come. It'll be by donation. It'll be 1 hour of reading body language. The next hour, it can be like working with your dogs. So we'll have to be by registration. We're only going to take certain amount of people. And a group is growing every day. So if you guys like these Zoom calls, share with others. Tell people, let them know they can join the group. And that would be really cool if we can all make this group bigger so we can support each other. Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Have an amazing night. We'll see you next Monday.